Hello, everyone. My name is Adeza Udo, and I am the WiCyS Program Coordinator. It's an honor to have you today with WiCyS strategic partner, Adobe, who will be presenting on the topic AI is your ally. But before we get started, I would like to give you a quick overview of the WiCyS organization. Get the overview for you. There you go. So we often go by our acronym WiCyS, as in WeSys, because that is actually what we are, a global cyber sisterhood. WeSys is a 501(c) nonprofit organization with a mission to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. Our community is made up of over 9.5 thousand members in over 90 countries. We also have 70 professional affiliates and 260 plus student chapters. We offer a variety of initiatives and skills development training programs. We offer scholarships. We have our annual conference, leadership series, the job board, speakers bureau, mentor mentee program, professional affiliates, student chapters, and so much more. We have so many initiatives, programs for our members. We owe all our wonderful initiatives, of course, to all of our strategic partners who fund us year round. Our tier one partners being Akamai, Amazon, AT&T Cybersecurity, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon University, Cisco, Ford Motor Company, Google, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Optum, Sandia National Labs, and Sentinel One. Don't forget to ask questions during today's webinar. If you have questions throughout the webinar, please drop them in the question box and we will get to them at the end during the Q&A session. Also, if you haven't already done this, be sure to subscribe to the WeSys newsletter to stay up to date on upcoming WeSys events and programs. You can find it at WeSys.org at the right corner of your screen. With that, I'll turn it over to Shruti from Adobe to introduce herself and kick off today's presentation.
Thank you, Arize. Um, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you all once again to today's webinar on AI is your ally. To begin with, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Shruti Datta Gupta. I'm a product security engineer at Adobe, and I've been with Adobe for 3 years now. And during this time period, I have donned various hats as a product security engineer. I've worked on application security, adversary behaviors, and threat intel, and to most recently working on building AI powered tools for product security. I'm originally from the northeastern state of Assam in India, and I'm currently based out of Ottawa, Canada. Nearly 5 years ago, I moved to from India to the US to pursue a master's in electrical and computer engineering from Carnegie Mellon University. And that was actually the time that I developed an interest in both cybersecurity and MLAI and the intersection of these two very interesting fields in computer science. So I'm always up to chat about anything MLAI and security, and I'm really passionate about building ML and AI powered tools to solve security challenges. Aside from that, I am a hardcore bibliophile. I love hoarding and reading books. And I'm also a self taught baker, and I like to bake for my friends and family in my spare time. So, with that, let's dive into the more juicy part of today's webinar that you've all joined here for. Artificial intelligence, or AI, has become the buzzword ever since the advent of ChatGPT into our lives since November 2022. Artificial intelligence as a field has actually been around for quite a few years, but with the advent of ChatGPT and similar generative AI tools, AI has become the new way that we've begun to reimagine our day to day lives. We are starting to think of AI in how we live our day to day lives, ranging from writing songs and limericks and poems to creating really high quality images and videos. However, as security experts or security professionals, when we don our security hat, we tend to think of what can go wrong. Our natural inclination is to think about what can go wrong. What are the new threats with AI? How can somebody misuse AI? How can a bad actor, what are the bad things that a bad actor can do with AI? And to add on to all of our worries, we also have a lot of negative, bad press around AI, right? AI poses risk of extinction. AI is the new tool that cyber criminals are using. AI wants all of our jobs. And all of this negative, scary press around AI continues to add on to our paranoia. And as a result, our worldview tends to be around AI risk. Now, worrying about AI risk is valid. It's not wrong, but in my humble opinion, it is only the partial view of the world, right? Just like with any technology, AI also comes with both pros and cons. AI comes with its risks, but at the same time, there is also an AI opportunity that it brings with itself. And in this webinar, I want to focus not on the AI risk, but on the AI opportunity that we have, and I want to delve deeper into the AI opportunity in the field of cybersecurity. Before we move ahead, I just want to clarify that I'm not here to invalidate the risks with AI. I don't believe that they do not exist. I'm also not going to glorify AI as the shiny, new, magical, perfect solution to all of our problems. But what I'd like to encourage you to do here is really think of AI as your friend, as an apprentice, as a helper, as an assistant. Think of AI as your ally who is here to help you, who's here to support you, and who's here to make our lives easier. And as security experts or as members of the security community, I do want us to consider that we can leverage the AI opportunity while at the same time being mindful about and managing the risks that come with it. So, having set this context, I would like to reiterate that in today's webinar, we will acknowledge the AI risks, but we will focus more on the AI opportunity. So, what is the AI opportunity in cybersecurity? Historically, we have observed and experienced that one of the biggest challenges with security is managing security at scale. As organizations grow, it becomes increasingly difficult for security teams to ensure that the guardrails that we've put in place can also continue to scale with growth. And this applies to all facets of security, starting from engaging with engineering teams to provide security guidance, to finding and fixing bugs, and all the way to making sure that we are adhering to the necessary compliance and governance policies. In the past few years, we have actually come up with a bunch of automation tools to manage the problem of security, to manage the problem of security at scale. Uh, but I feel that there is still some untapped potential in that area. To add to this, we live in an age of data, right? And security is no different. We have abundance of security data. In fact, sometimes we have so much security data that it is really hard to derive meaningful insights and information from all of this data. The thing is, when we combine scale with the availability of data, that really makes the playground ripe to find the AI opportunity that we are looking for. So, AI can help us not only by taking care of the mundane and repetitive security processes and tasks that are important and crucial to ensure product security, but also not the best processes to derive maximum value out of human security experts. So, AI can take all of these mundane and repetitive tasks and processes and can automate and scale them. Additionally, AI can also help us derive insights from the abundant security data that we have. And additionally, AI can also help bridge the gap that we usually see between security teams and engineering teams, and can help connect engineering and product teams to security best practices, guidance, and company standards. And how we can do that is something that we will look later in the talk. But the point that I really want to drive here is that the presence of scale and data, these two factors, really make this a ripe AI opportunity. So, having set that context, let's go and look at what is the AI opportunity in security, right? So, security has a lot of different functions, and obviously, we cannot touch upon everything and all that is possible with AI and security. But what we will do today is we will dive into one particular area of product security. We will understand why it is important. We'll look at some of the challenges that come in this area and how we can use AI powered tools to address some of those challenges. So here I would like you to come with me into the world of a security ticketing system. Now, in any organization or company, security teams will typically have a ticketing system which is used to file, track, triage, and fix security issues. Having such a system is important because it allows us to find and fix issues and make sure that our products and services are secure. However, as an organization grows, we do face a few challenges with such a security ticketing system. First of all, we face the problem of ticket overload, right? The rate at which we find and file bugs, especially with a lot of the automated scanning tools, the rate at which we find and file bugs is much higher than the rate at which we are able to fix and resolve these tickets. And as a result, this leads to like an overload of tickets, and backlogs overflow with security tickets, which honestly is not fun either for security teams or for engineering teams. Secondly, when we think of a security ticketing system, it is a powerhouse or gold mine for data, for security data. But then again, it is so much data that it becomes unmanageable. And again, what good is data if we cannot derive meaningful insights from it, right? So, unmanageability of all of this data and deriving useful information and insights from this data becomes a challenge as well. And finally, we observe that there is the challenge of scattered communication in such a ticketing system. What I mean by this is that there are gaps in communication between the security testing teams who find and file tickets and the developer teams who have to fix these tickets. And often these communication channels are scattered across different mediums, they're asynchronous. which indirectly leads to these tickets not getting resolved in a timely fashion, which again indirectly adds on to the ticket overload and unmanageability problem. And if we double click on all of these challenges, we find that this we're dealing with scale here, and we have a lot of data. So again, scale and data, the combination of these two factors means maybe there is AI opportunity out here. So let's see what are the AI opportunities that we can find in such a security ticketing system. Now, here we will discuss three use cases or three examples of AI tools that we can build that can help solve some of these challenges that we discussed. So first of all, we will talk about a fix recommender AI tool. Then we will talk about a data analyst AI tool. And finally, we'll touch upon a chat assistant AI tool. And for each of these three tools, what we will do is we will understand what the tool does. We will briefly touch upon the risks that come with the AI tool. If you remember, I want us to consider the risks, but we will focus more on the opportunity and the value that we are getting out of this tool. And finally, we will look at a high level workflow of how each of these tools would look like and how they would operate. So let's dive in. So the first example use case is that of the fix recommender tool. Now, as the name suggests, the fix recommender tool is an AI tool. Again, our playground is a security ticketing system. So the input to this tool would be a security ticket with the details of the security issue. Now, the fix recommender tool will take the ticket, will understand the issue, will refer to companies' security guidance. And based on all of this information, it will explain the issue to the developer and suggest a fix to resolve the issue, along with a reasoning that explains why the fix should work. For example, if we have a cross-site scripting vulnerability in the ticket, the expected output from fix recommender would be somewhere around, this is a cross-site scripting vulnerability, and to fix this, you need to sanitize user input. Now, double clicking a little bit on the risks and the opportunities with such a tool, right? Um, so again, when we talk about a security ticketing system, we have a lot of company confidential and sensitive data, right? And we do want to exercise caution and make sure that this data is handled carefully with right controls in place, because if any kind of information disclosure when it comes to ticketing data can be disastrous for the company. So that is definitely one of the top risks that we need to be mindful about. Um, Second risk that we need to think about is over reliance. Here, the idea that I do want you to understand is that we are not letting AI take decisions for us, but we want AI to help us with and give us some direction, right? So one of the risks here is that we don't want developers to be completely or overly reliant on such a fixed recommender tool. We want the consumer of AI generated outputs to be vary that these are AI generated and to take the outputs with a grain of salt. And finally, there is also the risk of factual correctness with generative AI models. We have seen that often generative AI technologies can spit out factually incorrect information with a lot of confidence. So again, this is a possibility as we are designing these tools. We have to make sure that our AI system, our fixed recommender tool, is not giving out factually incorrect suggestions. And at the same time, we have to make sure that our end users are not overly reliant. And this list, by the way, is by no way exhaustive, but these are some of the top concerns, top risks that we see with building such a tool. But that being said, on the flip side, what is the AI opportunity, or what is the value that we can derive out of such a tool, right? So fixed recommender tool is helpful because it provides support to dev teams. Imagine yourself as a developer who's been assigned a security ticket with some issue in their code that they have to go fix. Now, you may or may not know the solution, you may or may not know how to fix the problem, but instead of having to go around and try to figure out what the solution is, we have a tool here which gives you a good starting point, gives you good starting resources as to what is the problem, why is this a problem, here's a possible solution that should work to fix the issue. And such a tool, by providing such support to the developers, we are helping with making fixes to these issues in a timely manner, which again in turn helps with the overall backlog management and ticket overload problem. So let's look into the workflow here. And this is a very high level abstracted workflow. I want you to think of AI here as this red box. And this could be a single model or a combination of models or whatever. We don't really care about the nitty-gritties inside of the red box. But um, I would really like you to think of the workflow here as you have AI. Now, think of AI as an assistant, as an ally. Now, you give the AI some input and you give AI a clear cut instruction on a task that they have to accomplish. So, they take the input, they take your instruction, they do something, and then they give you the output that should accomplish the task. And this is like the mental model that I'd like you to have as we go through these workflows. So here for the fixed recommender, we will have the security issue, which is the security ticket detailing all of the detailing the security issue, and the task that we give AI here is the security issue. Understand this issue and suggest a fix for this issue. So AI takes in this input, makes some sense of it, and it outputs a fix recommendation. It suggests a fix that should resolve the issue, and it also gives some reasoning as to why why the solution should work. Now, again, an analogy that I really like to give here is. Suppose say you are cooking dinner and you want me to go shop for groceries, right? You can give me a plain old instruction saying, Shruti, go get some groceries, and then I can go to the grocery store and get whatever I want. But you can give me more detailed instruction and say, hey Shruti, I want to cook pasta for dinner, so can you please go to the grocery store and get the ingredients that I need to cook pasta. So now I have more detailed instruction and I know exactly what ingredients to buy from the grocery store. So AI works similarly, right? The more instructions you give, the more details, the more context you give, the more specificity that we can get out of the AI generated response. So one layer of specificity that we can add here is we can add the information about the company's security standard and guidance. So the task that we give to AI here is a security issue, and here is the company standard and security guidance. Now go understand this, make sense of this, and suggest a fix for this issue that adheres to the company's security guidance and standards. Now, when we add these kind of details and context in our input to AI, we can anticipate that the fixed recommendation that is provided by AI is not just a generic fix to the problem, but it is more tailored and more curated and more specific to your company's security standards and guidance. So that was our first tool, the fixed recommender tool. Next, we will move on to the data analyst AI tool. Now, in the ticketing world, this data analyst AI tool will look into the historical ticket data, and it gives out, like for an input ticket, it gives out similar issues that we have seen in the past. Additionally, it can also analyze and find patterns in these similar issues and can present all of these trends in a consumable format to you. Again, looking at the risks and the opportunities. The risks with the data analyst tool is again pretty similar to the ones that we discussed with fixed recommenders. I won't touch upon those again, but the value that we can get out of this tool is that we can use this tool to find patterns in reported issues. And this is again helping us with the unmanageability problem, right? It is helping us derive insights from all of the of the issues that we are seeing in the company. What are the top vulnerabilities? Are we seeing the same kind of vulnerabilities? And the ideal customer for this tool actually would be engineering management or security leadership, because with such kind of insights, they can it can help them with prioritization and be more strategic with their decision making. Another area that this tool really provides value with is deduplication of tickets. So to explain this a little bit further, let's say you're an engineering manager. You woke up today morning and you saw that there are 10 tickets that have been filed in your service, right? Now these 10 tickets might correspond to 10 different issues, but it is highly likely that all of these 10 tickets were generated because of one configuration or one change in the code that was not done correctly. So now you know that, okay, we have these 10 tickets, which looks like a lot of tickets and a lot of issues, but it's actually one thing that we have to fix that can fix all of these 10 tickets. And again, as a result of doing this, it helps again manage the ticket overload and the backlog management problem. Now, going into the workflow for the data analyst AI tool, here again, our input is the security ticket, which has the details of the issue. And the task that we give AI is go find past issues that are similar to this security issue. And by similar, we mean semantically similar. So we are not really doing a keyword search, but we are trying to find out when we say semantically similar, we are able to find specific techniques, specific details that just a keyword search might not be able to find. So AI takes this information, takes this input, and it has a data store in the backend which contains all of the ticket information, ticket data. It constructs a search query based on the task, and then it goes, looks into the data store and retrieves the top similar tickets, and then presents those top similar issues back to you. Now, again, adding one layer of detail to this workflow, we can modify our instruction to AI and say, okay, cool, here is a security issue. Now go find past issues that are similar to this security issue, but that were reported in the last 7 days for the same product. Now this is like adding the where clause in a SQL query, right? So we've added a couple of conditions here, and now AI understands those conditions. It modifies the search query with the additional conditions on the time and product fields, retrieves the top results, and gives you back the top similar issues that it's able to find. Um, to add on to this, we can also get the AI tool to give us more detailed or nuanced trends, right? For example, this was the input ticket. Here are the top 10 similar issues that I found in the last 7 days. But out of these 10 issues, 8 of them were reported in one day, and the other two came in around like across the week. So again, that is giving you insight into maybe there was one change in the code that led to 8 tickets, and maybe all of those 8 tickets can be resolved by fixing that one issue, right? So the point here is that you can give more detailed instructions to AI, and the data analyst tool here can retrieve all of the data from the historical tickets and can find these trends and present them back to you. So it helps us derive useful insights from the data. And with that, we have covered the data analyst AI tool. So finally, we will touch upon the Chat Assistant AI tool, which I think is probably the most popular and most familiar tool whenever we think of AI, right? Um, so, like the name suggests, a chat assistant is a chat interface based AI tool wherein you are able to converse with an AI engine, an AI system. And the job of the chat assistant is to understand user queries. If they don't understand the queries, ask for more information, get the context, understand the user query, use that understanding to go retrieve data and information from the backend knowledge base, and then summarize and present the information back to the user. And this happens in this scenario, this happens in a loop, because you want this is more like a conversation, right, with the chat assistant. So this kind of happens in a loop, with repeated questions until and unless the user is satisfied with the responses. Risks here are also quite similar as before, but there is an additional risk of prompt injection with a chat assistant. So, for those of you who are not familiar, prompt injection is conceptually very similar to a SQL injection attack. Essentially, we are dealing with user input directly. And so we have to exercise caution and make sure that we are handling the user input appropriately, so that we inadvertently don't get the chat assistant to do funky things that it's not supposed to do. However, here the AI opportunity or the value that we are deriving from such a chat assistant is that we are able to provide self-service to developers, right? So put yourself again in the shoes of a developer. You have been assigned a ticket. You may or may not know what to do with it. You may or may not know the security guidelines, the policies, etc. But instead of having to wait around to get the right guidance, here is a tool, here is a chat assistant that you can quickly go to ask questions, and the chat assistant pulls out the necessary information and gives them back to you. And consequently, that kind of helps you to timely resolve the tickets. Uh, Another really important value that we get out of this tool is we are enabling empathetic engagement with the developers. Now, we often see that like the ratio of security engineers to developers in an organization is really hard to maintain and gets off as an organization grows. So providing the one-to-one guidance manually is not scalable. But with such a chat assistant, we are able to continually engage with the developers, with the engineering teams, and provide them the right guidance and support, not just at the start of when they're building a product or a service, but throughout, even as they're trying to resolve tickets, especially in this scenario. And by doing so, we are also connecting the engineering teams, the developers, to the standards, to the security standards that we want them to adhere to. They might know them, they might not know them, they might be able to find them or not. But with a chat assistant, you can use the chat assistant to get connected to these standards, to get connected to all of this information as and when you need it as a developer. Again, going into the workflow, a very high level workflow is the user provides some question, some query. The AI here understands the query, and based on that, it makes a search query, searches its knowledge base, retrieves the top results, and then summarizes and curates a response to answer the user query. So to consider an example, let's say I'm a new developer. I've just joined the company 2 weeks back, and I've now written some code and I've pushed the code. And today morning, I received a ticket saying that my code contains hard-coded secrets. Now I'm a newbie. I don't know what the company standards are. So now I can use the chat assistant and say, hey, here is the ticket that I've been assigned. It talks about hard-coded credentials. Can you tell me what does this mean? And what should I do about it to fix this issue? So then AI, the chat assistant, goes, looks into the knowledge base, looks into what are the risks, and then comes back and says, hey, having credentials or secrets in code is not advisable because of XYZ reasons. And here is what you can do instead. You can use the secret management tool that is suggested by the security team. Now, I might not know how to configure the secret management tool. I might not know how to kind of get that in my code. So my next question would be, okay, can you point me to some documentation that helps me with how can I configure and set this tool up and make sure that I'm able to fix this issue? And then AI goes back, again, looks into the knowledge base, comes back with the necessary documentations and provides them as a response back to you. So this was a very simple two loop workflow, but I guess it helps to give you an idea that this is how we can use the chat assistant, not just to kind of understand what an issue is, but also to get continued support with respect to what are the company's security guidance, what are the policies, etc., and how we can fix the issue and kind of resolve tickets. So, with that, we are at the end of this section where we have looked into specifically a ticketing system that we typically use in product security, and we looked at this at some of the challenges. And these are the three tools that we discussed about, and how these AI tools can help mitigate the challenges. Specifically, we looked at a fix recommender tool, we looked at a data analyst tool, and we finally summed it up with a chat assistant tool. Now, having discussed some of these ideas around some of the AI tools that you can build, I do want to also touch upon how you can get started with learning and building AI tools, right? Um, let's face it, we are security experts, we are security professionals. All of us might not know and understand machine learning and AI. It is in itself a huge, vast field of computer science, and that can seem and feel pretty daunting at first. It's like this whole field that we don't probably understand, and now you're asking us to go build AI tools. How do we do that? Um, the good news here is that upskilling in AI is easy. And I'm not speaking from just my experience, I'm speaking from the collective experience of everybody on my team. Uh, we have all been security engineers. None of us have been experts in AI, but we have been able to upskill in AI pretty easily, start building tools, and we've learned a lot along the way, right? Uh, the thing that you need to remember is that you don't need to know everything to start building. Yes, it is good to understand the concepts behind machine learning models and deep learning models and how they work, but you don't really need to understand all of the complicated math that goes behind these complex, large models to be able to start building something, right? Um, Another thing in favor of us here is that most of the packages, libraries that are available today to help you build these AI tools are configuration driven, and they are not really many lines of code. So, what I mean by this is that you don't have to start building these tools from scratch. There are already a lot of packages, a lot of libraries available that do the hard task of understanding data, reading data, storing data, processing data, building the model, training the model, and all the hard things that need to be done. All you really need to do is understand what your use case is, understand what is your data source, what is the format of your data, and then using these libraries and packages, you can start building the end-to-end AI system. And it is really configuration driven. You can play around with the parameters and see what can give you better results. And again, the best part is that a lot of the learning material is free and quality learning material that is available online. And just to help you get started, these are some resources that me and everybody on my team has found to be really useful. Again, this is by no means an endorsement, but again, speaking from experience, we found that Coursera has some really good starter courses to understand the concepts of machine learning and deep learning and AI. Code Academy has some really good short courses that are free, like, and that are beginner friendly to help you get started. My favorite is deeplearning.ai. They have excellent free short courses that touch upon all the various aspects of building an end-to-end AI system, building AI applications. And the best part is that they come with not just like videos and learning materials, but they also come with notebooks where you can play around, write code, play around, and learn as you go through the course. And of course, there is OpenAI and LangChain, which are, I would say, in addition to other tools, these are the popular uh, tools and platforms out there where and their API documentations are really solid. They are really excellent, and even through their API documentations, I would say we've been able to learn so much, not just about how the code works, but also learn some of the concepts behind all of these about behind these tools. So with that, I will wrap up. If you don't remember anything else from today's webinar, I would still like you to walk away with three things, right? First of all, AI is here to make our lives easier. AI is not here to destroy us. AI is not here to take away our jobs. AI is our ally. AI is here to make our lives easier. Secondly, as security community, we can really do both. We can leverage the AI opportunity and manage the risks. It doesn't have to be an either or. And finally, AI education is accessible. It is universally available. All you really have to do is start. So, with that, I will wrap up. Thank you so much for your time, for tuning in to this webinar and hearing out my thoughts and ideas. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I would also like to thank Visas for this wonderful opportunity. And with that, I'd like to open up the floor for questions. Let's see, we have a few questions. The first question is, hey Shruti, great presentation. Thank you. What are the technologies that you are using on building AI products? Um, some of the technologies that we are using, LangChain, Databricks would be the top technologies. Going a little bit more into detail, if we also use some of the available popular vector stores, um like Pinecone, etc. Hope that answers the question. Um, Next, can you give some example tool names in the industry we can use for the three use cases that you discussed? I think this is again similar to the previous question. Um, you can use the OpenAI models, and LangChain is, I would say, a great tool for building these applications. Um, then let's see. Um, That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you for this great information. I hope this was useful. How should we prepare for a career in AI with regards to cybersecurity? This is a great question, and I would really like to address this. Um, I think here this is twofold, right? There is AI and there is cybersecurity, and it is important that you have a good grasp on the fundamentals of both. But I would say the best way really is to um, look for use cases, look for example ideas, and start like building. I think building is the best way to um, familiarize yourself with more technologies, understand what are the concerns that are there, uh, especially in the security field, and what are the opportunities where we can build AI tools to solve these problems. But I would say that yeah, building having strong fundamentals would be extremely essential. You need to understand both the security and the AI side to it, but again, a lot of it comes with experience. So, and the best way to gather experience, in my opinion, is to really just get hands on and build tools. So yeah, go around, like go around, find some project ideas and build your own projects. I think that's the best way to learn, and at the same time best way to prepare for a career as well that is at the intersection of AI and cybersecurity. uh, Let me see. see. This is an interesting question. Let me see if I can understand this properly. How soon do you think AV vendors? I actually don't quite understand what AV vendors refers to. How soon do you think AV vendors will have to add specific protections against the use of adversarial AI? And do you think this the responsibility of AV vendors protecting an enterprise or the provider of LLM APIs that may be in use? Or do you think adversarial AI will be more of a tool to develop attacks using traditional cyber means? Um, I would really like to address this question, but I don't think I fully understand. So whoever's sent out this question, would you please connect with me offline? And I would really like to understand what is it that you're asking and discuss around this. Uh, does Adobe offer BAs to universities that are academic medical centers for their creative cloud products? This is important because it would be problematic if a faculty or student, for example, were to save PII in Adobe Cloud either on purpose or accidentally in violation of HIPAA and or other mandates. Uh, I am actually not well versed to know if I honestly don't know what BAA stands for, and I'm sorry about that. But maybe we can again connect offline and I can look into this and answer your question. Let me see. We have a question which says, how much time did it take to fine tune the models for the specific tasks? Um, that's a great question. We have in our experience found that prompt engineering works better than fine tuning the models. Um, we have like we've tried fine tuning as well, and again, for those who are not familiar with existing AI models, you can either, to add your company specific context, you can either fine tune or train an existing trained model on your specific company data, or the other way that you can proceed with generative AI is you can give you can add the company specific details and instructions in the prompt itself to the AI tool. And in our experience, we found that prompt engineering, like carefully crafting the prompts and tweaking and playing around with the prompts, leads to better results than fine tuning. And again, please do take this with a grain of salt. This is what we have found in our experience. I hope that answers your question. Um, Another similar question that says, how would you describe the difference between using pre-trained models to deciding when to train your own? Um, Again, this is similar to the previous question. The thing is, when we are looking at large language models or similar, like mammoth sized models, right, they have been trained on vast amounts of data. And honestly, in my humble opinion, I don't think it's the best use of our time and resources to build a model from scratch and train it again to be able to perform as well as the existing large language models do, right? Um, so the difference here would be with the pre-trained model, they the pre-trained model has some worldview of has some knowledge of about the world, right? And it will, like, based on the task that you give to the model, it will generate responses or generate answers that can be very generic, and they might not be very specific to your company or to your specific organizational use case. So to add that specificity again, I think, speaking from experience, we would encourage you to try prompt engineering instead of looking at fine tuning. Prompt engineering, I think, we've gotten the best results with prompt engineering. So carefully crafting your prompt, making the instructions very, very clear, adding as much detail as you can, and repeatedly making the instructions clear in the prompt itself, I think would be, uh, in my opinion, the way to go, rather than training your own model or even fine tuning an existing model. Um, no question, but thank you for the great insights. Thank you. I hope you found them to be useful. Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting question. Data analyst is a great solution. Is it not increasing the computational load on the organization of managing this tool? How is it better than having a page with a search option to look for past findings? Right. So the one key difference here with the data analyst tool that I talked about is that we are not doing it. It is also conceptually working like a search tool, but it is not doing a keyword search. It is doing a semantic search. And by semantic search, what we mean is that it doesn't try to find like it doesn't search based on keywords, but it tries to find similarities in terms of the meanings of the text. um, let me go back again to the question. So is it not increasing the computational load on the organization to manage this tool? um, I well it I wouldn't suppose it is not I wouldn't suppose it is exactly increasing the computational load. I may be wrong here, but here actually there is you can use vector stores. um, Again, I don't want to get too technical because keeping in mind the wider audience in this webinar, but vector stores are where you store text data, convert them to embeddings. Embeddings are like numerical representations of text data, and that's what these embeddings or the vectors are what we feed to the AI model, right? So vector stores are actually where you would store all of this data in an embedding format. Um, and when it comes to the search in itself, a lot of available tools, such as Pinecone, the vector store that they provide, already comes with the search functionality. And typically they do somewhat something similar to a k-means or an approximate means clustering and search, if you're familiar with those concepts. But again, it's not really a vast computational load in my opinion. But I can definitely double click on this, and maybe we can connect offline and chat more about this. But to follow up, how is it better than having a page with a search option to look for past findings? It's pretty much the same solution, right? You can also have a similar, like you can have the same underlying solution, and instead of a data analyst AI tool, you can actually have a search option. But in the backend, it is an AI tool which is kind of going and searching through the vector store and pulling out the past findings. Um, let's see. I think I answered that. This is an excellent question. Will using the free material online translate well in the workforce? This is a great question. Um, I think that with the free material online, you are able to get started, get familiar with the tools and technologies that are there. You're able to get started with building your own AI Hello World project. Conceptually, I would say they would translate to the workforce as well. The specific tools that you end up using would really depend on your company or on your organization and what tools you want to invest in. But when it comes to a learning standpoint, learning the concepts and just getting familiarized with how these AI tools and systems work, I think they would still conceptually translate well in the workforce. Mm, I think I've done this. Okay, this is another question. How can I segregate identified vulnerabilities in an AI application based on OWASP top 10 LLM vulnerabilities? Is there any tool you can name? Um, Honestly, I can't think of a tool that can help you with doing that off the top of my head. Um, I'm not really aware of a tool, um, but yeah, well, like thinking AI, what I can think of is maybe you can also build an AI tool that takes in the identified vulnerabilities and does the connection with OWASP top 10 LLM vulnerabilities. That is a solution, an idea for you out there. But yeah, off the top of my head, I'm not able to recall any tool that I know. But maybe again, we can connect offline and discuss more on this. Mhm. Um, this is an interesting question. Thanks. What are some of the resources you'd recommend to learn more about prompt engineering? Um, Again, I would highly recommend deeplearning.ai's prompt engineering short course. That's really where I learned the most about prompt engineering. And again, just pick up any example use case. Think about what output you want, and play around with your prompts. Right. Uh, Other than that, I think there are a lot of good YouTube videos and Medium articles, etc. Also that are really good when it comes to prompt engineering. But I'd highly recommend deeplearning.ai's prompt engineering short course for this. Um, Thank you, Shruti. It was a great presentation. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Just curious, what are the best tools for data classification? I am not entirely sure what you mean by data classification here, because I can think of two things. Uh, just machine learning models to generally classify data, and there's also the whole data classification and handling aspect. Maybe we can connect offline, and I can talk with you and understand more about which one of these use cases you were trying to get an answer to, and then we can discuss what tools there are. Uh, this is a good question. Thank you for the information and the links to learn more. Is there a preferred first coding language or tool when learning to utilize AI? Um, this is a good question. In my experience, and again, this is like take it with a grain of salt, just coming purely from my experience, I would recommend Python. But I know that like a lot of these libraries and packages are available for a few other coding languages as well. But um, my preference, my recommendation really would be Python. Um, let's see. Oh, there is Another question that asks, can we pair an AI tool to scan pictures, screenshots in the knowledge base, or only text? Actually, we now have OpenAI now has a multimodal LLM that can take pictures and inputs and give you responses based on that. So yes, there are like you can get started with OpenAI's multimodal models to scan pictures in addition to text. All right, we are at time here. Thank you everyone for joining the webinar. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the content and you liked the ideas. And if there are any unanswered questions, or if you'd like to chat further, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to chat. And yeah, thanks again, Visas, for this wonderful opportunity. And with that, we will close off. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks.